I brought Valentine roses and Paris tickets to my husband's office. Under a skylight, 200 employees cheered as he proposed to Amanda, the CEO. 30 minutes later, I had canceled the trip, frozen our accounts, and pulled my 83% stake from the business. By the time I got home, he had called 152 times. Jake and I had been married for 14 years. We built Harlow Reed when it was a healthcare software platform above a dental clinic. He sold the dream, I built the system, and my father supplied the first money. His shares later became Carter Family Holdings, which owned 83% of a company worth $558 million. That morning, I thought his distance was stress over an acquisition. I bought the roses he called, old school, wrote a card, and tucked the tickets inside. The receptionist smiled and asked, "Are you here for the celebration?" I heard applause before I saw the stage. White roses, gold balloons, and a violinist waited under the skylight. Then Jake dropped to one knee. Amanda covered her mouth. He opened a velvet box, and the diamond caught the light. She nodded. He slid the ring onto her finger. Then he stood and kissed her while everyone screamed. A woman beside me whispered, "They're perfect together." Jake looked up and saw me. His smile died, but he did not leave the stage. Amanda followed his eyes and gave me a polite, confused look. "I'm sorry," she mouthed. "Do we know each other?" He had not just cheated, he had erased me. I walked out before anyone could watch me break. In my car, I canceled Paris, froze every shared account, and called Martin, my lawyer. "Pull Carter Family Holdings out," I said. "All of it." He warned it would freeze Harlow Reed's credit line. I looked at the roses on the passenger seat. "Do it!" Jake reached our house before sunset. His tie was crooked, and he rang the bell hard enough to shake the glass. I opened the door halfway. "It wasn't what it looked like," he said. "Then tell me what it looked like." Nothing came out. His phone rang and all the color left his face. "The board?" I asked. He said Amanda did not know about me because he had told her we were separated. He had rented an apartment downtown to make the lie look real. Then his panic sharpened. "You can't pull capital. There are obligations. There are clauses," I said, "and you signed them." For years, he had called Harlow Reed his company. He had forgotten who owned it. "The company was never yours," I said. Then I closed the door. At the emergency board meeting, every director finally looked at ownership documents instead of Jake's reputation. Carter Family Holdings controlled 83% of Harlow Reed. Jake told me not to make permanent decisions based on today's emotions. I told him, "I made no decisions today. I executed rights that have existed for years." Then the board asked whether he had claimed to be unmarried at work, whether he was married, and whether he had publicly entered a relationship with the CEO anyway. His answer to all three was yes. They put him on leave that night. I thought that was the ending. It wasn't. 2 days later, Martin laid expense approvals, wire transfers, and vendor contracts across his table. Every page carried my signature, except I had never signed them. The forensic accountants found 5 years of forged approvals for executive loans, inflated reimbursements, jewelry, private travel, and the apartment he used to fool Amanda. At the next board meeting, Jake said the evidence was out of context. The lead investigator said, "Metadata does not have context. It has timestamps." Jake looked at me and said, "You're enjoying this." "No, Jake," I said. "I'm surviving it." The board fired him for cause, revoked his equity, and sent the forgery evidence to outside counsel. Amanda called afterward, crying. Jake had told her he was separated and that I was only old family paperwork. She did not know I owned the company or that their apartment was paid for with company money. "I'm sorry," she said. "I believe you," I told her. "But sorry doesn't undo it." The board cleared Amanda of fraud and reinstated her as CEO 6 weeks later. I stayed executive chair, protected the company, and stopped protecting the man who tried to erase me. The divorce took months, but Jake lost his marriage, his title, and the illusion that visibility made him powerful. 3 months later, I found the canceled Paris card in my desk. I shredded it and booked one ticket to the same city. On my second night in Paris, I stood by the Seine and finally understood what Jake had taught me by accident. Being needed is not the same as being valued, and borrowed power is never the same as earned trust.